Let's bring in Marwan Bishara, Al Jazeera senior political analyst. Marwan, when we were talking to you a little bit earlier, before you got cut off, you were distilling what all of this means in terms of bringing about an overall ceasefire in the region. My question to you right now is, if there is going to be at least a cessation of hostilities when it comes to Lebanon, what does that say about Gaza, something that we've just been talking about? 44,000 people dead, most of them women and children.
Well, look, what is clear to us, regardless of Hezbollah's intentions and planning and his capacity to project power and to launch rockets, at the end of the day, Hezbollah could not stop the genocide in Gaza. For a whole year, since October 8, 2023, Hezbollah has been engaged with Israel, trying to sap some of its energy in the south in order to overextend it to the north. And it kind of succeeded for many months in kind of, preoccupying Israel in the north in as much as it was occupied in the south. But once again, it just couldn't stop the genocide in Gaza. This wasn't enough of a pressure on the Israeli government to cease its war crimes against the Palestinians. And yes, as you said, tens of thousands were killed, so many of them children. And much of Gaza, including the hospitals and the clinics and the schools and the universities and the residential buildings, have been destroyed. So really, Gaza has been rendered unlivable, and there was nothing Hezbollah can do about it other than try its best to occupy the Israeli military in the north. What happened, as we all know now, during the last 5 weeks, is that Israel turned on Hezbollah and on Lebanon. And just as it warned that it's going to turn Lebanon into another Gaza, it actually started bombing residential buildings and bombing villages and towns and even the capital the past 5 weeks. Today, Israel prided itself, it boasted of bombing 20 residential buildings in 120 seconds. It's baffling to me that the day they are supposed to sign on a ceasefire, they actually boast of killing more Lebanese and bombing more residential buildings.
Marwan, you've got the centrist Yair Lapid in Israel calling or saying that Netanyahu has surrendered to Hezbollah. You've got the far right also disagreeing with him, saying that the Israelis should have gone further in destroying Hezbollah completely and retaining their military presence within Lebanon as long as is necessary. I wonder, in terms of this apparent decision now, what it means for the Israeli people. Are they convinced that this is the right move, do you think?
Look, I thought until only a few days ago, the Israelis were quite happy, I must say, with the war on Lebanon. They really hated Hezbollah and the fact that Hezbollah could terrorize them in as much as Israel can terrorize the Lebanese people. And hence they were supportive of that war. Even those who were not supportive of the war on Gaza and wanted some sort of a ceasefire with Hamas that allows for the release of the Israeli captives there, they were quite bombastic about the war on Lebanon. I think the last few days, when Hezbollah was able to reorganize and to launch rockets against Israel and drones and so on, and notably this very past Sunday when it launched over 250 to 300 missiles against various Israeli towns and cities just down to the south, just until Tel Aviv. I think that certainly began to shake Israelis into understanding that there is no end in sight if this retaliation and counter-retaliation is going to continue.
Marwan, as always, very good to hear your thoughts on all of this. And just
make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.